This is a failure of EGR valve from a Peugeot 307 1.6 HDI. Probably fits various and other engines as well. Okay, it looks like that. Okay, the top part is the hall sensor position. It senses the position of the valve, and you can check that by rotating the middle with a screwdriver and checking across pins. I think that's 1, 4 and 5. 5 is 0 volts, and I think 4 is the output and 1 is 5 volts. Okay, so that part was okay, I checked it. However, having checked for the actual movement of the rotation of the valve, okay, the actual movement of the solenoid itself on the other two pins, that's pins 2 and 3, okay, it wasn't moving at all. The valve wasn't moving. So I'd measured the coil resistance, and that was about 4 ohms, so it was taking power. So I wondered, why was it not rotating? With a lot of difficulty I managed to get the actual shaft out of the solenoid. Okay, the only way to do that was to prise off. I used a blowtorch the actual actuator part from the bottom, and then drift out the shaft. Okay, and what I found was that on the back of this plate, okay, that you can see from the top, okay, that sits in there. Okay, on the back of that plate there is a magnetic disc here. Okay, this magnetic disc is the part that rotates in counteraction to the solenoid. Okay, and it's stuck. Okay, it's glued onto the back of this piece. Okay, and what happened is it basically came unstuck, and when it comes unstuck, it basically just sticks in there against the solenoid without actually allowing any movement. So that's why basically these EGR valves, or one reason why these EGR valves fail. Okay, so as an addendum to that last bit, basically what I did was stuck that magnetic plate back onto the other plate, and put it back together with some grease. I had to adjust the bearing a little bit so it spun freely with just a piece of tin can, just to shim it out a bit. But basically it moves fine now. I mean, I'm not really interested in an EGR valve that actually opens and closes the EGR valve correctly. I'm just interested in making sure that it turns and sends the signal back to the ECU correctly. I don't really want to waste money on a new valve, and I don't really care. I've blanked off the EGR port, so I just want something which will get that light off the dashboard